follow-up questions.
Okay. Well, thank you all for coming today. Great turnout. Shows the interest and enthusiasm as we get ready to kick off this 2020 baseball season. But our players, our staff, everybody associated with our program is very excited to open up in 2 weeks on February the 14th. We've been working very hard since the end of August on this journey to where we are today. So still have a lot of work to do in the next 2 weeks, but our guys have remained really focused and committed since we returned back from the fall break this spring. So we're excited. You know, I know we're coming off from our fourth straight regional last year, another 40-win season, and another conference title. So we know the expectations that are in place, but you know, I feel like that's the tradition that's been built in this program. So you know, our resume contains everything that's been done to this point. It has nothing to do with what's ahead of us. It only shows the accomplishments in the past. So we're eager to get out there and make our own name this year with a new team and a new challenge and really a new job. So with that, I'll just open it up for any questions that everybody would have. You know, they're still coming along. I think that's a work in progress. You know, to be honest with you, we're going to be a totally different offense than what you've seen the last 3 or 4 years. I feel like at this point, you know, the power numbers aren't there or are returning like they have in years past. We have some really new faces there. We have some guys that return. You know, I think we hit 67 home runs last year. We lost 48 of those, so we returned 19 of them, with Guidry and Montenegro leading the way. Guidry with 8 and Montenegro with 6. So, you know, we're going to probably be a little bit different team in the fact that we're going to have to, you know, manufacture some runs. You know, on-base percentage is going to be very crucial for us. You know, cutting out strikeouts is going to be crucial for us. Where in years past we could kind of live with the strikeout because we had the chance to blow the yard and make up for it. But, you know, we're going to have to be ultra competitive this year offensively. I think you're probably going to see a little bit more hitting and running. We're going to have to move runners and really get guys in scoring position and embrace the single more than actually the double and the home runs. I hope I'm wrong, but that's what I see at this point, and that's certainly what we're gearing our guys to really focus on and buy in.
How do you feel your pitching is this year? Do you feel like it, I guess, probably one of the better stats you had since you've been here?
I do. You know, not only do we return, I think, 9 guys that have experience from last year, just shy of 300 innings we return on the mound. I think it's like 292 innings that return. We got guys with experience, but I really like some of these newcomers, both traditional guys, freshman guys, and junior college guys. For the most part, I feel like it's probably the most depth that we've had in a staff. It's not a vanilla staff, and though in that everybody looks the same, we have some different options and some different looks that we can go to throughout the game. So been very, very pleased with the progress of our staff, Coach Oz, and the work that he does day in, day out, coupled with our strength coaches, getting these guys to really perform on that field up to this point. I really don't, you know, and of course I think I have an idea, but I'll be honest with you, with 2 weeks left and a team that's just not a lot of returners, there's still a lot of competition going on, in all honesty, and there needs to be, and I want those guys to understand that. So there's certain areas on the field that if we were to start today, you know, I don't feel like somebody's won that position quite yet. Hopefully in the next 2 weeks we'll have that decision made. We better. You know, we've only inter-squatted 3 times. We'll inter-squat again today at 3:30, then on Saturday at 11:30 tomorrow morning, and then again on Monday at 3:30. So as we continue through this, we'll continue to evaluate more on live at bats, live pitching, guys seeing live hitters. So I think that's going to be important in trying to figure out exactly this lineup.
You always like to have a lefty in your starting 3.
Yeah.
You have the guy this year. You said, I think you could fit
You know, you got three options, I think, and I'm not sure how we're going to use them. True freshman Chandler Best from Mobile has been really good. You know, I think he's a young man who's ahead of his age. He doesn't carry himself like a true freshman. He's got very good game presence, mound presence, what we've seen so far. Now, these have all been scrimmages when there's not been a whole lot of people there. You know, the game changes a little bit when all of a sudden you got 3,000, 4,000 people in there. The adrenaline starts kicking in. The game has a tendency to speed up. That's where we've been trying to work hard on slowing the game down and trying to teach these guys how to control their emotions and really block everything out and focus on what they're doing. But Chandler seems like he's a guy that's capable to do that earlier than what you normally see as a freshman. Ryan Ock, who will return. You know, last year he only had 12 innings. Unfortunately, we had to shut him down. He had a surgery this summer. He's fully healthy again. You know, he certainly gives us a starting option, in all honesty. But do we want to take him out of the back end of the game? I don't know. Those are decisions that we'll find out with time. It may be during the season we find them out as well. So, but they do give us good options. Josh Lewis was a guy that gave us a shot in the arm last year against LSU in the last game. So, you know, he's had that experience as well. So certainly we'd like to get a lefty on the weekend in the mix because I just think that breaks everything up, breaks the opposition's lineup up a little bit.
Can you talk about some of the freshman pitchers that really stood out to you so far?
You know, I think Isaiah Rhodes is an undershooter. He's a lot like a Nick Sandlin, has tremendous stuff on the mound. Once again, I caution, they're freshmen. You know, it's easy to look at them now and see them doing well, and you're going to have to put them out there. But if for some reason there's a little bit of hiccup, you got to understand they're just freshmen. But they're guys that are very competitive. Isaiah is exactly one of those guys. Ben Etheridge is another kid from West Lauderdale who I think has tremendous pitchability. Matt Adams, another one from Houston, Texas, has looked very good as well. So. And I mentioned Chandler Best in there. So those freshmen, Blake Wehunt is really starting to come on. You know, in the fall, he looked like a true freshman, but he's really, really turned the corner. Oz has done an outstanding job with him. The other day, he probably had his best outing since he's been here, dating back to August. So big, strong right-hander out of Georgia. So very pleased with how the freshmen have responded and come in and developed. Yeah, Cody Carroll. You know, Cody, I think, had 60-some innings for us last year. This would have been his senior year, but had Tommy John surgery there at the end of the summer, so he won't be available this year. Another young man, Tyler Stewart from Chicago area, Illinois, was a redshirt last year, went out this summer, had Tommy John, hurt his arm in summer ball, so where he might be back in time, we'll just have to play it by ear. You know, at that point when he's set to return, I don't know how much time we'll be able to get him. So we'll have to kind of figure that one out as it gets a little bit closer. But those are the two guys that right now that look like they're inactive certainly for the start of the season.
Can you talk about Drew Boyd?
Drew Boyd's back. You know, he's a young man that's been in our program twice. You know, he's trying to remain healthy. You know, he went on a skiing trip, hurt his hand, so came back. So he's going to maybe throw a bullpen, maybe throw in a scrimmage on Monday. But he was a guy we were very impressed with in the fall coming out of there. You know, he's a matchup guy, left on left. His off speed, especially his changeup, is really good against righties as well. So he's a guy that we would love to get in the mix this year in a certain role, whatever that role is determined. But you know, right now we're waiting for him to get healthy so we can get him back out there and kind of evaluate where he is. Well, I tell you what, he's been one of my biggest surprises this fall, in all honesty. Last year he was a young man that redshirted, and it was for good reasons. You know, I didn't feel like we could burn enough time for him to warrant burning a year. He was all into it as well. The game seemed a little bit fast for him last year, But the year behind him now, a year of being able to sit there in game days and watch and learn the game of baseball instead of just physically play it, and then going out there on off days or days that we weren't playing and be able to get the reps, learning what he took from a live game situation, watch his play has really helped him. Also, sending him out this summer in the Louisiana-Texas League has been really good for him. So I was very impressed. We moved him to right field where he's pretty much stayed. He's a left-handed stick that's got a really, really good eye at the plate, doesn't get himself out. He reminds me of a young Trey Sutton at that age, which was a pretty good hitter for us through those years. Well, I'll give you some possibilities. How's that? I'll start behind the plate, behind catcher. Let's go with we got two young men there. They're both new. It's going to be Brian Davis, a junior college transfer from Gordon College. He's got a really good skill set. Good defensive catcher. I think he's a lot like Cole Donaldson, a different body type, but he still brings the same presence as Cole did. He can shut down a running game. He's pretty good at blocking. He's athletic. The other young man is Andrew Stanley, who was a redshirt at University of Arkansas last year. So he comes in for a redshirt freshman year. Another young man that defensively skill set's really good, has a chance to hit and handle the bat, but still trying to figure out who he is there and how he's going to play that role for us at the plate. But I feel like we have two solid defensive guys behind the plate, and that's what we're going to look for first in that position. Danny Lynch returns at third base, continues to develop athletically just like his brother did as he went through his years here. So Danny's going to hit in the middle of our order, left-handed bat that was a very good freshman for us last year, and brings that experience into his sophomore year. At shortstop, we have freshman Dustin Dickerson from West Jones. He's been a great, pleasant surprise there. A real toolsy guy, high IQ, comes from a really high baseball family. His dad has coached in the big leagues for several years, is on Padres staff this year. So Dustin certainly knows how to play the game. And I think the thing that's impressed me about him, I knew defensively he was very solid, but I feel offensively he's learned how to really handle the bat and who he is and what we need him to do, which is very important. Not a big guy physically. Don't need him trying to hit the ball out of the park. Need him handling the bat. When I call for hit and runs or to move runners, he has a great understanding of that and can give us that. Will McGillis, we really moved him to first base this year, but Dickerson will also see some action on the mound. So when Dickerson goes to the mound, we'll see action at shortstop. Solid defender last year. I think he only had 3 errors going into the Ole Miss game last year, deep in the year. So he played really good defensively. My most improved player in the fall. Offensively, he and Coach Creel really blended well together in refining his offensive skills, and we saw that this fall. I really saw a young man who developed his swing. His plane stayed a lot flatter, was in the zone a lot longer, and he cut the swing and misses out, which we saw a lot of last year. So, he can move between short and first base, but you're going to see him at those two positions. Guidry at second, we return there, solid player, has been for years. Best tool's a hitter, but he continues to get better defensively. He's one of our captains, a real leader on the team, guy that's going to hit there in the middle order, probably in a 3-hole. He's been hitting 2 all his life. Experimented with him at leadoff at 1 year, didn't like it. But what we have to do is obviously we've got to get some protection for him around his at-bats to try to get him pitches to hit. So that's going to be a key who we surround him with. Right field has been Fisher Norris. First base, I'm sorry, skipped over first. McGillis is going to be there. Austin Izio has really turned the corner, I feel like, coming back from Christmas break, especially offensively. Right now we're going to have to find a place for him in the lineup. And we've been experimenting with him in left field as well. All fall he played at first base. But when Will's playing first base, then we've got to find Austin a place in there because he's really, really turned the corner with the bat for us. Right field is Fisher Norris, Blake Blaylock. Both of those guys give us options there. Center field is very it's very open. You know, I still haven't got a center fielder that I can tell you. I got guys that can play defense, but somebody's going to have to stand up and show they want it from the offensive side. So, you know, I've got the defensive replacements late in the game, but I need some offensive output from that position as well. Hunter LeBlanc's there. Reed Trimble, true freshman, who's a switch hitter, has looked good this spring as well. Blaylock has got time there. All three can play it defensively, as we all know. Gabe Montenegro in left. He is also my swing guy. He can play center very well. Some might say, does he have the arm to play center? Well, he does because he uses his feet so well. He understands how to shorten the game, shorten the field, come get the ball,